Hey, hey, hey. We are here. Let me get my stuff all the way together. Let me get to my comments. Hello. If you have just joined, please make sure if you're in Facebook and you say hello, just make sure that you put your name in there because I will not know who you are. It just says Facebook user. Um, And if you're on YouTube, then I can see you. I can see who you are, and we're all good. Let me turn my light up because I feel like I'm a little bit dim here. Okay, a little better. And then we'll go from there. So, how is everyone doing? Let me just make sure that everything is. Ooh, why did it show that? Okay, there we go. Just had to make sure everything was good. Y'all, so I was moving around. My brother had popped by, and so we were spending some good quality time with my father, who's now gone. But yeah, we were just spending some time with him. So let me just start here, okay? I am Tanisha Levine, and Levine is my middle name. A lot of people were asking, this is messing up. A lot of people were asking, where I got that from. Levon is my middle name. So that's where I got it from. I share the same middle name as my mother. And so I just like to honor her by just using it. My last name is Dawson. So Tanisha Levine is my alias, as is Oshun Allure. And so I go by both of those simultaneous sometimes. So what my page is all about, I just have to do this disclaimer so that people will know and understand where I be coming from. So I am a metaphysician, meaning that I am all about spiritual and universal laws, the catalyst to your manifestations, understanding spirituality and how it connects with physicality on a day-to-day basis. So basically, I am a mix of spirit and physical, which is basically what we all are. We are a mix of spirit and physical, and that's what I am, and that's how I deal with that on a day-to-day basis. So no, I am not walking around Bible toting and throwing scriptures at everybody, but let's be very, very, very clear. I do know my Bible, okay? I don't play when it comes to knowing what the Bible says, what the principles are, what they mean. And I've actually studied the Bible, not just read it. Like, there's a lot of people that read and quote scriptures, you don't even understand it because what did that really translate into in the Greek or in um, the Arabic language that they use? So yes, that is what I do. But then I evolved, started to learn more about metaphysics, and not just spiritual laws, but universal laws. That's what life is about. We are operating under universal laws all the time, whether we know it or not, whether we think we know them or not, and we are suffering and reaping the consequences of them, whether we know it or not. Oh, thank you, whoever this is. If you're on Facebook, it's okay if you don't want to say your name. I can't see your name. It just says Facebook user. So I don't want you to think I'm not acknowledging you. I just don't know who you are. So I just want to put that out there. Also, another thing, my Facebook, my Divine Feminine group, my YouTube is all about holistic life coaching and helping people to get from where they are right now to where they want to be. For me, I have a focus on relationships and masculine and feminine energy. I have done my due diligence and studying about that for years and years and years and years and years. I actually became a metaphysician in 2010, and I became a life coach in 2010, and the relationship coaching just kind of came from there. So this group is all about accountability, growing, learning, evolving. And if you happen to have a masculine man, this group is here to help you navigate that man. This is not for the women that want to control their husbands. It's not for the women that want to talk over their husbands. And this is not for those people, because that's a different kind of people and they have a different kind of man. So this is specifically related to those that already have masculine men and those that want to attract masculine men. So I just want to prerequisite that, because put that little disclaimer out there, because my principles don't work for everybody. My principles mainly work for the divine masculine and feminine energy, the duality, the polarity, the yin and yang of the two parties together. Without one or the other, it's not going to work. So if you got two yangs, I'm not talking to you. And if you have two yins, I'm not talking to you either, because the principles won't work unless you're trying to switch the polarity of the situation. Okay. So just before I get started, I want you guys, if you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe for me. That helps me to see how the content is resonating with the people that are watching it, even the people that are watching the replays. Make sure you come in, like the video, subscribe to my videos. I promise I don't bite. I really don't. I mean, sometimes I do. It just depends on the situation. But so today, y'all, this is a very touchy subject. And I know it's going to be touchy. So I have since meditated and prayed before this, because I was nervous even putting information out. Although it's not bad. I'm not jumping on nobody. I promise you I'm not. It's just that, certain things are hard pills to swallow, more so than others. So I just want to, start with that. I am not here attacking anybody. I am not judging anybody. I am not jumping on anybody's personal situations. And half the time, I don't even know people's personal situations. So I am never the type of person that's going to get up here and dig, try to use my platform to jab at people and get at people. I am not like that. I am not petty. I am here to help. Okay. So tonight, we are going to be talking about the imbalance of the household. Okay. As ladies and men, the accountability falls on both sides. We have to do better. As women, our sons are not our husbands. If you are a single mother, your son is not your king, and he is not the king of the household. I know it sounds crazy, because it's like, oh, masculine energy, let him rise up, let him take over. Not until there's been some training and initiation first. And as a mother, we usually can't do the training and initiation. Okay. So this is something like that I feel like us as a society have to do better with. Hey girl. This is something that as a society, I feel like we have to do better with, just understanding how to raise boys and girls in this day and age, because right now the things that I'm seeing are slightly disappointing. And it's bothersome to me when I see, you can kind of see the handwriting on the wall. You're like, uh-oh, what's happening? And so I'm just here to kind of like shed a little bit of light. I'm just a little light bearer today. So don't jump all over me, y'all, okay? Because I know that, this is a trigger, and so trigger warning right away, especially because some of us have been single mothers and some of us couldn't help that we're single mothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, so again, this is not judgment. It's just, how do we navigate? How do we move forward? What can we do from here? Okay. So let me just start off with this. It was so funny because my brother was here and we were actually giving my father some advice. It was actually me, my brother, and my sister. We were sitting down, we were giving our father some advice, and me and my brother talk exactly the same. It's kind of weird. It's like, nah, because boom, 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 and boom, boom, boom. And we're just going. My sister's laughing. She's like, no, we said this. And even my husband said this. And I looked at my brother and I said, my father was like, y'all teaching me something today. I'm like, Dad, you taught us this. This all came from you. We're just reminding you of what the things that you instilled in us. The reason that your two oldest children are masculine and feminine at core is because this is what you and our mother instilled in us. Me and my brother are the exact opposite. Exact opposite. Although there are certain things that I agree with and he agrees with, that when I speak, because we both were like bouncing back and forth with the same information, we don't act anything alike. We are so different. Okay. So it's no secret that boys and girls are raised differently, usually. All right. And I'm here for it. I am honestly with that. I know a lot of people get into their, get their kids and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to raise them the same. And my son is going to be like this and he's going to be in touch with his feelings. And my daughter is going to be, know how to change a tire and do this. Nobody's saying don't do any of that. That's not what we're saying. But boys and girls are different because our thought processes are different and how we come to our end goals are different. We are not at all the same species. So just because we have two eyes, two ears, a nose, a mouth, two arms, and two legs, and we look the same, we are nothing alike. We're not even close. When I say not even close, I mean if we could have came from different planets, we probably did. Because there is nothing about us that actually is alike, except for the fact that we both have two eyes, a nose, two ears, a mouth, two arms, and two legs. That's it. Okay. So let me just start off with this. I have 3 boys, grown boys. Okay. And a bonus son. So I am officially a boy mom. I do have a stepdaughter, but my husband and her mother, she has special needs. So there's a different level of care that has to go for her. But our boys are boys. Okay, question. Hold on. Let's see. Make sure I can see. What if you had brothers that wasn't raised by the same mom, but she raised just daughters? Then the daughter have a son. How do the growing daughter that have a son raise hers when her mother never raised hers? So are you saying, so you had brothers and they were raised by like a stepmom, and then the mom raised just daughters, then her daughter has a son. So how does the growing daughter to have a son raise hers when her own mother never raised hers? I think I'm going to get into that because that's a question that is for the solution, and I get that. So, she gave them up but kept her daughters. Okay, so she gave the sons up. She kept her daughters, and now her daughter has a son, and she's trying to basically give her advice, but she didn't even raise her own sons. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what it sounds like it is to me. I'm the first generation with a son. Okay, yep, I got you. I was picking up what you was putting down. Okay, and I'm gonna get to that. Because it's not an easy answer, but you might find your answer in here somewhere, because I am going to get into all of it. Okay, but all hope is not lost. Mothers can raise sons. There's just some enlisting of help that you need to get. Okay, and that's not always hard. All right. So, but I'm gonna get into that because I got a lot of information to give y'all tonight. All right. So I'm a boy mom. All right. So let's just put that out there. I am a boy mom. I don't coddle. I also was raised with a brother, and we were not raised the same. So that, I think, played a huge part in how we are as people, because the differences in how we were raised were profound. All right, so I'm going to give you guys just some examples of that. All right. Because I'm going to be honest, when I was a teenager, I used to complain about it. I used to be like, hey, this is not fair. Like, what do you mean I can't do this? What do you mean I can't do that? What do you mean I can't go here? I used to be like, but it's not fair because and my favorite line in my household was, but it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. And my father didn't care. Like, life's not fair. It's not supposed to be fair. That's not what I'm here for. So, I'm gonna explain on that. So let me just tell y'all a story, right? So there was I probably got a lot of stories. So I was one day getting ready to go. I'm just looking, scrolling down some stuff right now, but while I'm telling y'all this story, I wanted to go to the movies. The movie started at 11 o'clock, right? And I was in high school. And everybody in Hampton High was going to this movie. I think it was Tales from the Crypt, Death Day, or some new Tales from the Crypt movie that was coming out, Demon Night. I think Jada Pinkett was in. Everybody was going to the movies that night. And everybody was going to like that 10:30, 10:45 show. So of course me, I try to go clean the kitchen. I try to go clean the bathroom, do some stupid chores just before I act so that they can't say, because you didn't clean up such and such and such. So I go to my parents and I'm like, hey, everybody's going to the movies tonight at school. And so here's the first things first. My mother and father are sitting there, and it was, well, what time does the movie start? And I was like, 10:45. They was like, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, why? And there was like, the first thing my father said, well, is your brother going to that movie? And I said, I don't think so. We're not in the same grade. First of all, I'm older than my brother. So why would he be going to where I'm going? We're not even in the same grade. My grade is going to the movies. And he's like, was your brother going? I'm like, no, not that I know of. And he's like, well, if your brother's not going, you can't go. And I was like, oh, why not? And he was just like, it's just too late for a young lady to be out. And how you getting there? And who's bringing you home? And what exact time is the movie over? When I tell you it was an interrogation, it was an interrogation. And I was like, never mind. Like at that point, I didn't even want to go because it was like, first of all, I don't want to have to go with my brother. I don't know how he's going to get there. I don't know. All these questions you're asking me, I don't even know. All right. There was also another time where I felt like I was responsible. I was like a senior in high school, junior. And I could not go anywhere unless I had a destination to be and a time to be back, right? So I couldn't go anywhere unless I had the time to go and the time to come back. And I brought my parents to the table. There was something we had called the table. And the table was where they always brought us if they had issues with us that they wanted us to modify. And so I said, can I bring y'all to the table? So I brought them to the table and I was like, hey, here's the thing. I don't think this is fair that my brother gets to just come and go as he pleases. And he comes in the house, leaves out. Nobody knows where he's at. Nobody knows when he's coming in. And all he got to do is be back in the house by 2 a.m. and he's not in trouble. Where with me, I had to always have my destination, who I was going with, who was bringing me, and how I was getting home. That was the list that had to be checked off before I could even think about going outside. And this came from my mother and my father. And certain things my mother had to actually convince my father, like, let her go. Like, so I brought them to the table like, hey, listen, I'm super responsible. I have never really gotten in trouble. I have been doing nothing but working, running track. I'm trustworthy. I really honestly think that y'all should let my curfew be a little bit later. Like, come on, my brother, I call him Yodi. We all call him Yodi. My brother is coming in at 2 a.m. and I got to be in the house at 11:45. And it was like, we'll extend it a little bit, like midnight, 1 o'clock. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. But how about this? If there is something that's going to go a little bit later, if I call and let you guys know what's going on, will it be okay if I stay out later? Good compromise. They liked it. And most times I got in long before my curfew was anyway. So they never really had that issue with me. But I say that to say that my upbringing next alongside of my brothers was very different. And it was going to be known in my household that it was going to be different. Just because y'all are the same age, Just because y'all go to the same school does not mean that you guys get to do the same things and that we're going to treat you the same way. It just didn't work like that. All right. So it was an understanding in my house that we were going to be treated differently, which is probably why I am the femininity advocate that I am today, because my family actually helped to cultivate that femininity inside of me. Okay. All right. So let's start here. Our boys are put out onto the front line. All right. They are learning to become protectors and providers. That is a man's role in this world, is to be builders, developers, protectors, and providers. That's their role here. Without them, we would not have the world, the cushy world that we lived in. I know we get cocky sometimes and be like, I don't need a man, because the road has already been paved, literally. But if these poles were not up here, if these internet boxes were not here, I couldn't even do what I'm doing today if it was not for a man climbing really high up, putting those wires up, risk his life to be electrocuted. I wouldn't even be able to be up here today. We would have fire, crackle, and candlelight. Okay? So I know we're like, I don't need a man, but that is what they do. They are the builders and the developers of this world. They risk their life to make this world a better place for all of us. Okay. And so they're learning to become the builders, the protectors, the providers, the developers of this world. But they aren't men yet. They're boys. So what are we supposed to be doing with boys, right? So their training growing up should be as such. So it's up to us as the parents to instill this, and that's usually by example. All right, because kids, as kids, don't understand certain concepts. So the only way that children learn is by example. That's why when I see like kids and they cussing, they carrying on, and they're saying certain things and they're having certain mannerisms, that's because they're watching their parents do it. It's not like rocket science. It's like, there are certain conversations my husband and I don't even have in front of our son. He got to go to bed first. So it doesn't matter even how mad we are. He got to go to bed. And then it's like, so what was you saying earlier? what was that? Because there is a difference. They have to learn by the example that you lead and not what you say to them. Kids don't listen to what you say. They listen to what you do. They watch what you do. They mimic and they emanate what you're doing, what you're saying, and your mannerisms. They are like sponges and they pick up everything. That's why you need to be your child's first teacher. Not the school, but you. Because you are the one that's going to instill the principles and the nurturing, the things that they need growing up. Okay. This is why I am an advocate of a two-parent household. This is no shade on people that don't have two-parent households, because we're going to get into that. Okay. Because it's not ideal in every situation. Sometimes things just don't work out. Sometimes the marriage, the relationship just didn't work out. You guys broke up and now there is a separate household. But in two-parent households teaches the balance between masculine and feminine energy on a day-to-day basis, which makes it a little bit different than when the father is just around. Okay. So this is why I am also an advocate that the father needs to be around as much as possible. Put your feelings to the side. Put your petty to the side. When he does show up, the last thing you need to be saying is, oh, you finally decided to show up. Just be grateful that he's there. Because then you saying you finally decided to show up, being sarcastic and trying to point out that he hasn't been here thus far, is not going to make him want to come back. Okay? All you got to do is, hey, you're here. Okay, where you guys going from? Yo, great. Take them. Have a good time. Unless the father is abusive to the children, he should have full access to the children at all times, whenever, wherever, however. Our society has gotten to the point where the mother has so much control that the father has to almost ask permission to see his own children. And that really shouldn't be so. Like, I get it. People are like, oh, well, my job is to protect my child from inconsistency, because inconsistency will hurt a child more than him not being around at all. Foolishness. That's not true. Yes, your child will be affected by the inconsistency, but what that will do is that will toughen your child up, because life is about toughness and learning lessons. He's not going to be super uber damaged like that because the father came in and came out. If anything, he's either going to grow up and become like that, or he's going to grow up and become the exact opposite of that. Meaning, like, most children didn't like how that felt. So they usually grow up and say, I'm not going to do to my child what my father did to me. That is more along the lines where the children lean more so than becoming that kind of father. But even in inconsistency, there are still things that the masculine energy teaches the child. I'm not so much talking about mommy energy right now, although we are going to get into it, because mommy energy is usually always there. Mommy energy never goes away because we're not away from our children 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, we're there to do our job, and sometimes we're doing our job and their job. So normally we're around, we're in the picture, and so that's why I'm talking mainly to fathers right now. All right. So here's the thing: the mother is the child's first teacher. Always. She teaches emotional intelligence to the children, whether it's a boy or a girl. She teaches them how to feel. She teaches them how to process their emotions and how to handle their emotions. Again, she does this by example. It's going to be very hard to tell your child that they need to learn how to process their emotions and act correctly when they're feeling a certain way when you cannot do that yourself. So, how the child turns out into the age of 5 is up to the mother and the mother solely. Okay? From 0 to 5, mommy energy. That is what they need. When it's about to get to be that 4 to 5, daddy needs to be there. Intricately and all the way. And I'm going to tell you why. All right. So as the mom is teaching emotional intelligence, right, Joanna, it's learned behaviors. Exactly. So the mother is loving, she's nurturing, she's disciplining, and she's also coddling the children. That is her job. It is not bad to coddle your kids, especially when they're young. And that is a mother's job, to coddle her children, to, when they fall, get up, kiss the boo-boo. Everything's going to be okay. You're fine. You're good. Pack the lunch. Make sure they're eating healthy. Make sure they're watching the right things. Turn the thing. Matter of fact, what time is it? Oh, okay. Because my son's probably down there with that tablet, and he needs to go to bed in about a half hour. So y'all going to hear me mute for a second at 8 o'clock and yell his name. But that is her job, making sure what are the children watching? What are they mentally ingesting on a day-to-day basis? What is happening with the kids? That's her job, because normally, if it's a 2-parent household and there's balance in the household, the father is working and he's left that responsibility to the mother. All right. After 5 years old, a boy needs his father to start to migrate him from the coddling of the mother's energy. So it's the father's job to kind of like balance off that coddling. And if it's a girl, then the mother takes on a more active role in cultivating the feminine energy for the daughter, all right? With the balance of the father imparting a little bit of masculine edge into the daughter. Because again, masculine and feminine has to be a balance even within yourself. So 2 parents need to be there, because you can't be so feminine. Remember my last video, I said, like, you can't be so feminine that you're out here and you're just gonna die if there's not a man around. It can't be like that. So the father does impart a little bit of masculine edge to his daughter. Okay. Now, the reason I say 5 years old, because medically and scientifically, the main impartation of discipline, the emotional intelligence, and the structure of the child, that is all imparted before the age of 5. After the age of 5, you're going to have a much harder time implementing structure in the child, because the personality has already been on its way to be formed, or it's already formed. So when your child is from 0 to 4, that is when you need to be instilling right and wrong, cause and effect, discipline. When they get to be 5, discipline and structure, bedtime, eat time, TV time, this time. Now, as they get older, 6, 7, 8, trying to migrate them into more structure is not going to be hard because they're used to having that up until the age of 5. But most parents let their kids act crazy before the age of 5, and then all of a sudden when they turn 7, they want to stop. No, because you're too big for that. You were supposed to teach him when he was 3 that wasn't okay. Now trying to beat it in his head at 7 that this is not okay, it's going to be much harder for you to do it. All right. So let's talk about the energy at home when there's both parents present. Okay, both masculine and feminine energy present. This can also be true if the father isn't in the home, but he's very active in the son's life. So he doesn't necessarily have to live there, but if he's 100% active, the same principle applies. The only difference is that the son may not actually see the dynamic between a loving couple or the balance between man and woman, depending on the dynamic, you know what I'm saying? But if they're no longer together romantically, he might miss out on that particular dynamic unless he sees the father in a relationship with somebody else. Like that happened with my stepson. Like my stepson, him and his mother were not together, but my husband was with me. So he was still able to get the balance of masculine and femininity and see his father love on a woman at the same time. So we saw him with some other ones too, but he didn't really count those so much. That's the crazy part. So when the father is in a home, let's talk about how different this is, right? Let me just say this, and this is why it's a little hard when you get separated or you break up with your baby father or the baby father breaks up with you. The father should still have full access to the children. And that makes things complicated simply because, like, if you decide to move on with another man, that man is still going to be around pretty often. And the new man that you're with is going to have to kind of jump on board with that. And the new woman that the father has would end up having to jump on board with, the difference in the family dynamic. So it's actually very hard for that because it can get a little sticky if there's insecurities and jealousies and competitions and things like that. Like when it comes to my husband, I have a stepdaughter. She has special needs. Like I don't even think about being like, well, we're supposed to be spending time together right now. Like I don't even think about that because in my mind, I don't want a person that wouldn't put their full foot forward in raising their children. The same way you have a child with me, you have a child over there. So, like, as a matter of fact, his daughter's mother, life gets easier and better when I'm around because I provide relief. Like, he's able to actually take her more because I'm there. So, because if he's working, he has things to do, then I'm around. So it kind of makes the balance for even her better. But those are things that you guys need to talk about. You have to be adults. You got to have the grown-up conversations. You got to be like, hey, kids come first. So, I'm not trying to make you insecure. I love you. Me and him are over. Me and her are over. But this child is still here. And anybody that tries to come in between that, you got to watch them. Because that's a little weird. And it says that you're putting your insecurities before what's best for the children. And I just never think that that's really good. I think that's something that needs to be worked out individually. But just, something to think about, So let's talk about when the father is in the home. The dynamic is different. 1, because there's balance in the home. And 2, because he always has direct access to the child. When the child is around 5, if he's a good and involved father, let's put that out there, he starts to integrate, not by directly teaching him, but because more so children start to become aware at this age, they aren't directly watching you. They are subconsciously watching you. Like we all think like kids are like watching what we're doing. It's not really that they're just like, oh, mommy did that, let me do that. Daddy did that, let me do that. It's a subconscious watch. It is something that happens at the deepest recesses of their minds. It becomes a core a core value, a core principle in them that this is what's okay when the parents are doing it. That's why it's very important to be very careful about the things that you do, say, and how you behave in front of your children. No, you don't want to be phony, but you want to protect them from the ugliest versions of yourselves. You know, the traumas that you guys may have or anybody may have that haven't been worked out. All right. So this is the time where if you're married, living together, the order of the home is established between male and female. All right. So my dad worked a lot when we grew up, right? We lived in Connecticut. My dad worked in Jersey. Because we did live in Jersey, we decided to move back to Connecticut. When my parents decided to move back to Connecticut, but my father's job was still in New Jersey, and they just wanted to move based on schooling for us. Me going down a terrible path in New Jersey, that they were like, we got to move back to Connecticut because this girl gonna be out here. My brother as well. We were in a nice neighborhood, but New Jersey was starting to become bad. Car stealing, well, now it's here, but hey, literally they would steal your car at a red light at gunpoint. It started to become really dangerous to live in New Jersey, and they decided, like, for the sake of their kids, that we need to go back home. We need to move back to Connecticut. And my father didn't have a job here yet, so he still had to work in New Jersey. My mother never saw my father because he worked second shift. So by the time he left in the morning to go take the train to New Jersey to be at work from like 11 to 7 or 12 to 8 or 3 to 11, that was what he worked. He worked 3 to 11. By the time he took the train in the morning to get there, he was leaving at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and he worked till 11 o'clock at night. He didn't come home until almost 1 or 2 in the morning. And then if he decided to work a double, he would just stay there overnight and work all through the night and not come back for 2 days. And so the order of the home had already been established, though. So all my mother had to do was even threaten us with our dad, because our dad would spank us without emotions. He would say, this is going to hurt you more than it hurts me. We got spanked. But there were times we didn't. It was just a conversation. But if she said, I'm going to tell your father when he gets home, we were straightened right up. Like, There was one time, we was making fun of something in the car, and my father said, your kids are going to be spanked when you come back. And we was laughing at him like, yeah, right. No, we not. My mother came back out that grocery store. Me and my brother was both crying. My father didn't really play. Like, it was one of those things that I remember telling my husband, I don't think my father even laughed. Like, he laughed with my mom and adults, but he didn't really laugh with us until we were like almost preteens, 12, 13. I didn't even know my father laughed, because he always was just so like, what are y'all in here doing? What's going on here? Almost to the point where I was like, dang, like, you could not get away with nothing. And it probably was my mother telling him, because now that I'm grown, I noticed that he don't even know this stuff. He don't notice anything. Like, oh, that was her telling him, and he was just, relaying it because she was the keen one. She was on top of things. So you can always utilize the father for discipline, structure, cause and effect. These are the things that the father brings to the household, right? The father also begins to teach the son and daughter strength. Again, this is subconscious. It's not consciously, but he shows strength to the household. You don't normally you don't see the man walking around the house crying. You don't see him super stressed out. That is something that he processes internally. So the child usually sees strength from the father. That's why the father is usually the children's first hero, because they see their father as strong always. So that's what he instills, okay? There's so many things that the man and the woman both instill in children, and that's why it's super important to have the balance in the home. Yeah, my daughter mimicked something yesterday. It wasn't bad though. Listen, kids are crazy because They really do be watching. They really can minute. My son can do it all the time. It's crazy. All my sons actually. It's actually kind of annoying. So the father teaches the son discipline while the mother teaches the son love and nurturing. All right. So he receives love, nurturing, and daily discipline when the parents are in the home together. That's what creates a balanced man. All right. The problem with our societies now is that women have deemed fathers optional. We're like, oh, we can do it. I got it. I'm the mother and the father. On Father's Day, wish me a happy Father's Day. No, this ain't for you. This is not for you. And although you might not have support, you are not the mother and the father. You're just a mother with no support. You're not both roles because you can't be. Physically and scientifically, you cannot be both. It is virtually impossible. Yes, you can discipline. You can do all of that. But you cannot do what a father does. It amazes me when women actually say that because we don't even know what men really do. We're not even here for it because it's not our thing. It's not for us. It's not for us to know. It's not even for us to actually really be able to figure it out. I hear my dog's barking. It sounds like my door just opened. So we've deemed fathers optional, keeping children away from the father. Oh, he's busy. He's with me this weekend. We're going here this weekend. He's like, can I see him? Can I grab him? Because y'all, unfortunately, I know the narrative gets posted and painted that men are not there for their kids. But do you know statistically that's actually not true? Statistically, and this is sad, Black fathers are not the lowest in not taking care of their children, even though that is the narrative that has been created publicly. Most fathers want to be in the lives of their children. They just don't want to have to deal with the antics of the mother to do it. So that is really the problem. It has nothing to do with, oh, they don't want to be fathers, they don't want to raise their kid. No, they just don't want to deal with the manipulation. They don't want to have to deal with the arguments. They don't have to deal with the insecurities. They don't want to have to deal with you thinking they're going to get back together with them because they're around for their kid. So a lot of men don't have the strength to kind of fight through that. So they'll just kind of let the chips fall where they may. And they need to chill with doing that too. They need to step up more. Be more assertive, say what it is. Listen, I am here for my kid. You and I need to get along and co-parent effectively for the sake of these kids. Tiff, what you hate to see? She said, I hate to see it. What you hate to see? The women trying to manipulate the man when they got the kid. Because it happens all the time. You know? Oh, you could come see him, but don't bring that girl with you. You mean his wife? You mean the woman he's been with for the past 3 years, but your son is 3.5, so you mad still? Oh, you could come get him, but he can't be around. Y'all gotta lay off these stipulations. It's ridiculous. Like, so now, do you want him to grab him or not? Is it his son or is it not his son? And if it's his son or his daughter, then he gets to do whatever he sees fit with the children when he has them. We want to control everything so badly to the point that we will actually keep them away so that we can keep all the control and say, then when your son grow up to be a demon child, he got an adjacent mask, you're like, no, that's my baby. He don't even do nothing to nobody. And you've raised a terrorist. Then what? We have to do better. Like the games, the manipulation, it's all played. Like, what are you doing? You're only hurting the child in the long run. Now, unless your significant other or this child's father got him going on drug bust and selling weed with him in the baby seat, okay, I can see that. But you just mad because he got Jasmine in the front seat? That, my friend, good sis, you got to get over that. That has nothing to do with you. And you got to trust that man that he wants to protect your child as much as you do. I know for a fact that my husband would never let anything happen to our son. Ever. So if we broke up and he decided to be with somebody else, I would know for a fact that that woman would never even think about doing anything to my kid, just for the fact that he would give her the absolute business. She would be done. So most guys love their kid enough that they're not going to let just anything happen to them when they're with them. Most men, grown men. And like I said, you out here doing drug runs out in the middle of the night. You like, let me take my daughter. No. Oh yeah, Tiff, when they be like, wish me a happy Father's Day too. I'm not. It's not your day. You gotta chill. You gotta sit down because it's not today. Like, we're not doing that. Happy Father's Day to me. You're not getting a Father's Day card. You're not getting a Father's Day happy Father's Day on Facebook. You're not getting none of that. It's not your role. All right. It gets me worked up. Okay. So, you know what else we do? This is another thing we do as mothers, aside from keep the kids away. We don't allow the father to actually do his job. And I'm guilty of this too. Not anymore. I be sucking it up. But we don't allow the father to do his job. When the father does decide to discipline the kids, we want to jump in. You being too hard on him. You don't gotta be that hard on him. Is he hitting him? Or is he being stern? Now, if he's hitting him, okay. Like, my son has never been hit by his father. He's been hit one time. But he's never hit my son. I actually spanked my son growing up, but I don't even have to think about it now. And my husband never has to hit him. All he has to do is just talk to him. And that little boy's eyes is like, what is wrong with you? Calm down. He's just talking to you. So we want to jump in when there's discipline. He has a very strict regimen. My husband, get up in the morning, wash your face, brush your teeth, put coconut oil on your face, fix your eyebrows, put your uniform on, make sure your uniform is ironed. Make sure once you're done with that, you go to the table, you eat your breakfast. Get your book bags together, get this together, get that together. And he got to take the trash out in the morning. He got to take the bag out and grab the bag. That is the regimen in the morning. I know Ashley, I think they be trying to fight back tears. So their eyes get all big because they trying to hope the tears go back in. And so he has his little regimen in the morning. If he forgets a part of that regimen, not even me, Terrelius, what are you supposed to do at this time the trash? Grab it. Very methodical, not mean, not really raising his voice, but stern enough for him to know, I'm on it. Snap out of it. Get your structure. Get your routine. Get it together. What are you supposed to be doing? Let's get it done. And then one day, I remember I had hopped in. Hold on, y'all, but I can't see sometimes. I had hopped in on, it just came out. I was like, why you say? And then he didn't say nothing to me in front of our son. But later that night, he said to me, why did you say something when I said something to him? And I was like, oh, because of da-da-da. He was like, listen to me. This little boy, although he is a boy, needs to be raised into a man. And you don't understand what a man is. You don't understand how a man thinks. And you don't understand what a man does. But he will one day. And all of this structure, all of these things that I am implementing into him right now is going to cause him to be a responsible and productive man. You jumping into that is going to make him an unproductive man. Do you want that? Do you want a son that is going to continue to keep calling you and borrowing money from you because he can't get his life together, because he can't wake up in the morning? He want to keep calling out because he don't even got the tenaciousness or the tenacity to fight against getting up. Men got to do the hard things in life in order to make it. And that right there is going to make him soft. And soft is not what you want to breed. And I was like, well, he doesn't have to be hard, because he was like, no. I'm not talking about emotionally, because he sees me soft with you. He sees me loving on you, kissing on you, hugging you all the time. He sees me soft with you. But I'm not going to be soft about his regimen. I'm not going to be soft about the time he needs to wake up in the morning. I'm not going to be soft about his bedtime. I'm not going to be soft about the things that need to get done. Because when he gets older, this will be instilled. You know what I did? I shut the hell up. Because he was right. Let me mind my business. I don't even know why. He got on my case in such a way that it wasn't even really case. He really was explaining to me, and I just was like, ooh, yeah. I had never even thought about that. He's like, listen, the world that he has to go out into is going to be much harder than me. I'm not even being mean to him. I'm just keeping the structure. That's it. But you can't go against me with the structure, because then what he's going to do is he's going to feel like anytime dad says something, all I get to do is run to mom. And as long as mom is here, I won't have to do it, because she's going to come to my rescue. And that's not what you want. He was like, you don't want your son thinking you're always going to run to his rescue when things get hard. Yeah, you're going to always be there to help. You're his mom. But you don't want him thinking that every time I come down hard on him, he's going to be able to come to you and you're going to rescue him. That's not real life, Tanisha. Oh. Huh? You're right. That's not real life. Wow. Let me mind my business. Y'all want dinner? Like, because at this point, I don't even want to hear no more. I got it. I get it. Duly noted. No more. I won't do it ever again. And I didn't, because then I understood what he's doing. I understand what he needs to create in him. That's something that I can't create. Now, I can manufacture it. When he's not around, I manufacture it. Hey, get up, do this, go to bed. It's manufactured. Because if I can go in there and catch him on the tablet later, I'm going to say something, but the feeling inside is not going to be the same that's inside when his father sees it. So I'm manufacturing it just so I could keep the order that the CEO gave. But it's really not my order. You understand what I'm saying? So like, I'm not going to have as much fervency in implementing the order as the person that wanted the order implemented, because they have a reason for why they want to implement it. All right. Not allowing the father to lead the child in a certain direction. My husband wants my son to play an instrument, because he feels like as men, you guys have to do things that we don't want to do, like that you guys don't want to always do. So implementing some sort of structure in something that you don't necessarily absolutely love, but you just can do it. So now he goes to a school where he has to play 2 instruments. So that was just something that he said, because my son doesn't play sports. So, but if it was sports, there would be a sport that he would have had to be in, because that teaches leadership. That teaches teamwork. There are things that boys need to be around that we will know actually nothing about. All right. So we either got that, the lady's not letting the guy lead the baby, raise the baby, implement structure in the life, or we have the men who deem fatherhood optional on their own and thinking picking their child up on a weekend and dropping them off to their sister or their mother is fatherhood. And that's not fatherhood either. Just because you pick your kid up on the weekend and you drop him off to your mama house, that's not being a father. That's being a babysitter. And you might as well send that child back home to his mother, because all you're doing is dragging him from one woman to another woman's house. And the implementation of love, nurturing, and coddling is going to be the same. Yes, Joanna, no, you're not. You're not both. Yeah, I was guilty too. Right. Listen, he got me all the way together, Joy, and I was like, oh, looking stupid. Crazy. But um they're needed. But guys, you got to do better too, because we're not letting y'all off the hook. Because, like I said, picking your kid up and dropping them off somewhere, that don't count. Picking your kid up, dropping them off to your girlfriend, that don't count. Dropping them off to grandma's house, Nana, don't count. Dropping them off to auntie does not count. If you're going to pick up your son and be with your son, you need to be spending quality time with your son, implementing things, teaching lessons, talking about things. Be a father. Treat it like it's a job, because it is. Y'all know I always said two most important things: marriage and kids. We don't need class for, and that's the main thing we need class for. There's not parenting classes until you're about to get divorced. But what about all these people that got baby mama, baby father? The only way you have to take a parenting class is if you get divorced or there's some sort of domestic violence. Other than that, there's no parenting classes. Why are there no parenting classes anywhere that teach how to raise, structure, and implement certain things inside of your child? It's baffling to me. It's baffling to me. So let me tell you what the mother establishes in the home real quick, all right? So as we first stated, they do emotional intelligence. We impart emotional intelligence in the child, point blank, period. That is not something that the father does. That is all mom, okay? The mother also establishes love and nurturing. So we love, we nurture, we take care of, we run to the rescue of. That is what we do. We teach the expression of feelings, because normally children feel okay expressing crying, anger, sadness in front of their mother more so than they do in front of their father. So it is our job, though, to be in control of our own expression of feelings so that we can implement and teach the expression of healthy expression of feelings to our children. My sons know that although, like, I think, like, here's the thing: I spaz out in my house, but it's all for show, because I really don't. They know that I just do it just because. And I have boys. I had to like scare them a little bit so that they know when they get taller than me, don't try it. But they don't take that into account, because I'd be like, oh my God, who left this trash? Yeah, no, I can't stand trash. But they're not listening. They just be like, yeah, right. Sure, mom. But in real life, my sons can talk to me about anything. They talk to me about everything. Things that I'd be like, oh, no. I'm talking about all the way from, mom, can you get me some trimmers so I can shave my pubes? What? Sure, fine. No, because like they be getting caught in my zipper and they be itching. Yeah, I got it. I'll go down today. They talk about anything: girls, sex, women, advice, anything. My son got bit in the butt by a German Shepherd. I'm like, oh, let me see. I thought he was showing me his thigh. He decides to take his boxers. I was like, whoa, what? Not. I thought it was your leg. I didn't really want to see your bit up butt cheek. Like, it's that part is okay. So they're very open. They know that they can talk to me about anything. But they also know that I'm going to hold them accountable. I'm going to give them good advice. My son the other day just drove up to my job just to talk to me because he wanted advice about his girlfriend, or ex-girlfriend now. So just to kind of hang out with me for lunch, like, hey, I got to talk to you for a little bit. He just wanted advice. So you want to have that open door policy with your kids, boy and girl, where they can actually express their real feelings. Sometimes as Black moms, we have gotten a bad rap that you can't tell a Black woman nothing, not even your mother. So the moment you start to tell them something that they did that bothered you, you're like, no, and as much as I do for you, you like switching on them. And I went through 32 and a half hours of labor. And then this is what you're going to say to me? Man, all he said was you hurt his feelings when you closed the door. Like, stop. Let them talk to you and tell you what you did that made them feel away. That's all you gotta do. My sons will do something like, if I'm like frustrated and I'm doing something and they keep calling, I'm like, yes, what? They go, never mind, you don't seem like you're in the mood. And right then it checks me. I go, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. I just was frustrated because of this. But go ahead, I want to hear what you have to say. Because that's not right. Ooh, y'all, my son is texting me like, you want some food? Y'all know I always be eating after this thing. It be making me hungry. Okay. You got a little job at the like rancheros or something in Wallingford. You be making a little bowls. Bring me a bowl. So yeah, so that's our job. Expression of feelings. We inspire creativity. You notice all our kids want to draw us pictures at school and they want to bring us like something that they drew or made. That's usually because moms are going to go, oh, this is so amazing. We're going to hang it up on the refrigerator. We are going to inspire and we cultivate creativity in them. Draw mom a picture. Draw mommy. Color this for mommy. Go show mommy this. We are always going to be the ones that are kind of like, guys, you don't hear them go, yeah, go draw me a picture. Like, they do it, but it doesn't inspire the same way when a mom does it. We establish freedom. Mothers show a child how to be free. You ever notice that it's usually the mom that'll go outside and stomp in a puddle in the rain with their kids? They'll go outside and like let the rain hit them. Guys mainly do like the sporty stuff, like yeah, let's go paintballing, let's play water guns. But a mom will actually go outside and show them how to be free within themselves. Play outside, play in the water, play in the dirt, play in the sand. We're not as like structured, like get out that dirt, you're gonna get your shoes dirty. Yeah, we don't want you in there, but we're gonna be talking to our friend and you're gonna be playing in the dirt anyway. So moms inspire freedom. We cultivate softness. We show softness. Come give mommy a hug, lay on our bosom. We rock them. We coddle them. We rub on them. We touch them. We kiss on them. We hug them. Compassion. Empathy. When our child hurts, we hurt. So we show them empathy. When you hurt, I hurt. When something goes on with you, it's going on with me. That's why most moms, if the kids say they're getting picked on, I'm coming down to the school with my pigtails on. Where's she at? Where he at? Empathy. We cultivate passion. We take care of them, him. We make sure that our son's needs are met. No matter what they need, we make sure that they're met. And we serve him without wanting or needing anything in return. That is a mother. So this is all good. It's great. Only if there's a father around. Because if you're doing all of those things without the balance of the masculine, you're actually creating a monster. Because let me tell you what the masculine brings. This is what the father establishes. He establishes foundation. Who are we? What do we do? Period. What do we stand for? What's our foundation? What do we as a family believe? What do I as a man believe? They establish the discipline. Men, you ever notice that men don't talk at times? Like a mom will tell a kid stop 5 times before they implement a consequence. And the father will say it once, and then the next time there's a consequence. That's because we establish freedom while they establish discipline. A child needs to know the balance of both. I'm gonna let you go because after a while, mom gets tired of talking. But a father will make sure that he hits it every time so that they know every time you do this, this is what I'm going to do. So they establish discipline, structure. A child knows what he can and cannot get away with when there is a father around. Let me tell y'all, kids be trying to play you. My husband will be busy. or I'll be somewhere else. And my son will have his tablet. He knows that he's not allowed to be on his tablet over a certain amount of time. But he will try it if his dad is not there. And I got to call him on it and be like, you know better than that, right? Yeah. Well, would you do that if your father was seeing you? No. Oh, so you're trying to play me. Is that what's going on here? So what's the difference between me and daddy then? You tell me that. You answer that question for me. Why is it okay for you to do it in front of me, but if it was daddy, you wouldn't even try it? Tell me that. He want to play them. Oh, you know, I'm going to get in trouble, but I'm the one that spanks you. Daddy doesn't. So tell me why you would do it in front of me and not daddy. I don't know, because he probably doesn't. It's just the idea that the father brings discipline, structure, and law to the home. That's it. He brings balance and he brings order. So children do not go against order. But again, the mom is instilling freedom and creativity and softness. So without the counterpart, without the polarity, without the exact opposite in nature, they're always going to sway more to one side than they are going to be balanced. If a mother is offering love, creativity, freedom, nurturing, softness, coddling, but then a father is establishing law, order, structure, balance, the kid is never going to really be too far on one side than the other because they're getting both. All right? The father teaches consequence. There is always going to be a consequence to an action. And that depends on the kind of man you have, the kind of household you have. But the consequence in my house is there will be some days I'll come home and my son's iPad, he'll be like, I took his iPad. And I'll be like, why? Because A, B, C, and D. Well, when can you get it back? I don't know. And then I have to ask permission for him to get it back. Or I have to go talk to him if he wants it back and say, you need to go appeal to your father and tell him why you need it back. One day I had signed up for his coding class and I said, hey, I signed him up for a coding class. Do you think he can get his tablet back? Because he can't take the class without his tablet or his laptop, and he took both. Oh, yeah, he got it back. Okay. But now he got it back under certain stipulations. You can take your coding class, you can watch a couple episodes of your little Roblox stuff, and then you got to shut it down because you have disobeyed the orders. That's just what it is. The father shows strength, again, security. As much as they implement law and order, a son still knows and feels secure around the father. Cause and effect. And a man gives what is needed and required, but not always based on feelings. Like they will always give what's needed. They will usually give what's required, but it's not always based on feelings. So their discipline is not normally based on feelings. Like, oh, I'm going to hurt my son's feelings if I say this. They don't necessarily care about that. They are looking for an outcome. Again, remember I said I'm prerequisiting this when I'm speaking about masculine men. I am not talking about the little boy that is not raised himself because he had the other mother that didn't have the balance of that. And now, like I said, he is an immature, irresponsible adult child. Because that's what single mothers are breeding now. We are breeding adult men, adult children. Because the man has not evolved and matured yet. Oh, yes. Honestly, Joanna, you seem so calm to me. I can't imagine you really wilding. Like, she said she's taking a parenting coaching course now on how not to lose your shit. But I don't really see you like that. No. I don't know. You just seem so calm to me. I don't know. So again, y'all, boys need both. Mothers can only establish what a father gives in small doses. Yes, we can do discipline. Yes, we can establish order. My son knows that there's order, but it's never going to be the amount of order that his father has. Never. We're going to show strength. We're going to show resilience. Yes, but it's never going to be the same. All right. She can never give what a father gives in totality because she's not a man. And we do not think like a man thinks. And we don't understand how the male psyche works and why they do what they do. So we may be able to mimic it, but we'll never truly understand the method to their madness. We can mimic it all day though, but we won't necessarily understand why they're doing things. That's why it's never safe for a woman to act masculine, because we'll have the same action as a man, but then we don't have the same thought process for why they're doing what they're doing. And so that's why we're all messed up. Like, we just out here doing anything. You can always tell this. This is sad to say, maybe triggering, but you can always tell when a boy's father is not in the home or around at all or involved in a child's life, because that child is usually lawless. You ever going to a grocery store, going to a restaurant, going to a school, and you see that kid that's just wilding? Usually, children with fathers do not go that far, because the father is going to check them or her quickly. Now, as a child gets older, usually for a girl, fathers don't have to check her. That's the mom's job. So I'm going to tell you the difference between the order. When the father is not in the home, the mother usually utilizes her son as the love of her life. Without the structure, the law, the security, and balance that the father brings. And then she grows this man up and puts this coddled ass man out on the street to be a man for somebody else without having learned any of the basic principles of masculinity. So most women are raising their sons, loving on them, nurturing them, coddling them, serving them. But then the man can't really be a man in her household, because who you talking to like that? Who you looking at like that? So now when it comes time for her to do that, all she's doing is training that man that he needs a mother and not a significant other. That man is going to always grow up and look for a mother in his significant other, and he's never going to really rise up and be the man in that house, because he really wasn't truly the man of his mother's house. It was a pretend thing. It was mimicked. It was manufactured. Oh, this is my love of my life. This is my king. This is my husband. This is my son's so protective of me. But then when it comes time for him to really be a man and do man stuff, you don't get to talk to me like that. You don't get to say that to. You got to pick a struggle. Is he the man of the house or is he not? You can't have it both ways, because like I said, now you're going to put this coddled man out into the streets to be a man for somebody else when he didn't learn any of the principles that men learn or that men teach. We don't understand it as women. We're putting way too much pressure on our kids when we're like, oh, he's my king. He's the love of my life. I don't know what I would do without him. My son taught me real love. You know what that says? Obviously, our kids teach us love. But 9 times out of 10, we love somebody before them. The love is just different with a child, because it's usually unconditional. So your child does teach you unconditional love. However, to say that your child taught you love is it's almost like an understatement. Like, it's a little weird, but it's an understatement, because your child didn't really teach you that. We already all are love. We all know how to show it, give it, and receive it. So to put that level of pressure on your child before they even become a human yet, it's almost unfair to them, all right? Because they didn't ask to be none of that for you. So like, I taught you love, now I gotta be just attached to you at the hip for the rest of my life because you don't got nobody else. Like, how is that fair to them? Like, that's, oh, I thought I said, another comment. How is that fair to them? All right. Like, no, son, he didn't ask to be able to take care of you because you could never get a man. Like, that's not fair. He got to keep taking, doing everything. He got to share you with his family. Now he got a wife and you competing with her. You think you come first. You don't. He's supposed to put his wife first, not you. I always tell my kids, listen, when you get married, I got my own man. I don't want y'all. So when you get married, your wives ain't got to worry about me. I'm going to be a good mother-in-law. If she come talk to me about stuff, I'm going to hold your little rockheads accountable. I am not going to just let y'all get away with doing wild stuff without talking to you. If you come pick me up from work, no, I'm not sitting in the front seat while your wife sits in the back. I'm going to get out and say, no, sweetie, get in the front with your husband. Unless she says, no, Miss Dawson, out of respect, I'm getting in the back. Oh, okay. But it got to be her call, not mine, sitting there. This is my son. You get in the back, just jealous of the girlfriend. Stop. It's weird. That is not your man. Ilk. Stop it. You mad because you wanted some money. You asked him for some money. He said he got to do something for his family or his girlfriend. You like, oh, so she come before me now after all I did for you? Do not put your sons in that position. That's ugly. It is. Like, yes, so weird. And I don't want to hear it because I don't want to hear nobody say, well, you probably don't understand. No, I got all boys. And they all got girlfriends. I ain't bring them to meet me yet. Well, one of them did. They're not together no more. But they don't bring them to meet me because they know that once that happens, that means it's serious. And they're not really serious about anybody yet. But I'm not. Once they get serious, they get wives and married and kids, I'm not that kind of mother. I will never be that kind of mother that want to hold her son to her and then talking about some, this is my man. You got to go through me first. My sons can make that qualified decision themselves. I'm not gonna hate on their girlfriends. I'm not gonna tell them everything bad about them, and so that they could dump on why, so he could be my man and be up in my face. No, like the mothers, I feel like they should come first. Get your own life and get your own man, so that your young man can go out and live his life. How unfair is that? You had a kid to grow him up to be your husband, just without all the romantic stuff. But you want money from him. You want to come first. You want him to call you all the time, check on you. Like, come on. Like, you got to be busy building your own union, okay? That's how you get empty nest syndrome too. Like, a lot of people be like, I know a lot of people went in on my post when I said, like, a kid does not come first in our family. It just doesn't. Because first of all, I can make 10 more of y'all if I want. That's number one. So don't ever get it twisted. We're up here and y'all are down here. I could go make another one tomorrow if I wanted to. I don't. But if I wanted to, I could go make another one tomorrow. So the creation should never come before the creators. And that's how you get empty nest syndrome, because you give your life so much to your children, especially moms. You give your life so much to kids, the kids. You stop having sex with your husband. You stop dating your husband. You stop catering to your husband and start catering only to the kids. As a woman and a wife, you got to nurture everybody in the household, not just those children. So now you're forgetting about him, and everything is going into the children. Oh, cheerleading practice. Oh, basketball practice. Oh, let's go here now. Let's see how they're doing those things together. And y'all going together. Like, me and my husband went to the basketball games together. We show up, boom, boom. Look who stepped in the room. Yes, videotaping, all of that. Together. I dated a guy whose mom kept telling me he's going to live with me forever. Grossed me out. Girl. How fast did you run? Because I hope you turned into the road runner. I hope they saw your dust. Like, they couldn't even see your legs moving because they was moving so fast. Like, that's disgusting. And that's what I mean. That's that mother right there. That's weird. But he gonna live with me forever. So people gotta stop. Seriously. It's getting old. It's getting played. I don't know why people are not realizing it. These men are not really turning into men. They are little grown boys. That's what they are. I find this in some married women to raising. Yes, because that's how it happens, Joanna. Like, they start to coddle the kids too much, nurture the kids, forget about the husband. Now the kids go to college and they're looking at each other like, what are we supposed to do now? Because they don't even remember each other. They don't even know each other. They haven't been dating. They haven't been cultivating a relationship. They haven't been learning one another, because all they've been focusing on is them rockhead kids. And yes, we all love our kids, but y'all don't come before us. I'm sorry. And I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but when you really think about the essence of what people are saying, is what is coming before anyway mean? Because if we both have children, the children are both of our priorities, meaning we're going to both make sure the kids are upset, but we're not going to forget about each other because of these kids. The one thing that I respect about my parents is that we all knew that we didn't come before my mother. It was my dad, my mom, then us. It was very clear. If my mom said something and told on us, my father would spank us on command. I don't even know what y'all did, but your mother said it. If we asked our dad something and he said, and we asked our mom something and she said no, and then we went and asked our dad, we got in trouble for that. They made it very clear, we're the team. Y'all down here, we're up here. Don't try to play us. Don't try to play us, and don't ever try to play us against each other, or we'll tear y'all up. There was nothing that was said to one of our parents in confidence. If we told our mother, you better believe our father knew. And if we told our father, he was telling our mother. There was no secrets in our house when it came to them two. They made it very clear that they were one person. And we wasn't going to rise above that. And so then when we left and got married and had our kids and did what we did, we left and they had the time of their lives after we left. We couldn't even find them no more. I would call the house and be like, Mom, where y'all at? Oh, we out. We on a boat ride. Oh, we out. We at the casino. Oh, we out. We listening to this band. Oh, we out. We're at a concert. They forgot all about us. That is crazy. Ashley, my ex's mom, went on dates with us. I just thought they were close. No. I'm missing these comments, y'all. Hold on. I gotta go back up, because what are y'all talking about? Oh my God, my ex's mom. Why was she on y'all dates? Like, where y'all was at? I hope it was like Chipotle. I hope it wasn't like, oh my God. Right, Ashley, no, they were wilding, okay? They were wilding. That's too much. That's crazy. But yeah, so there was no secrets in our house. It was very clear. My parents had their thing, and we was not going to come before that or in between that. And we just grew up knowing that. And so now when it comes to our kids, it's kind of like, I'm going to tell what happened. Like, I got to tell your father. Sorry. I know you want this to be our little secret, but we don't have a bond that's bigger than this bond. So, because you were created from this bond. Here, this one created you. So we don't have one outside of this one. That's really all that means. That's it. We can't be more bonded than the two people that created the bond. Now, if you're not together as couple and married, boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're just mother and father, then yes, you still want to have a good co-parenting relationship. You still want to remain in open communication. You still want to tell them the things that are going on with the children. Because a lot of times, like, sometimes you can't really handle it by yourself. Just call them, hey, listen, let me tell you what your daughter did today. I don't even really know how to handle this. It is okay for us to be vulnerable to the father sometimes. It really is. It's okay. Listen, I don't know how to handle her. She's talking back. She's doing this. What do you suggest that I do? And let them give you a suggestion, and vice versa. Okay. Now, let's talk about what the father instills in the daughter. It is provision, protection. He's her first love with masculine energy. If you have a daughter and she has a father, that is her first love with the masculine energy and the essence of a man. So he's going to teach her everything about love from a man. That's where she gets it from. He is her security. He coddles the daughter. He is a teacher of the masculine, and he teaches her her power. Again, none of this is like, it's subconscious how he teaches it, but he teaches her her power. Okay? So that's what she learns from the father. What the mother teaches the daughter. So the father teaches the daughter what the mom teaches the son. He's soft with the daughter. He's loving with the daughters. He's still structured, still balanced, still will be a disciplinarian, but he shows her who she is, her power, that she has strength. All right? What the mother teaches the daughter is her femininity, her submission. She teaches her love and the balance of energy, because again, a mother is masculine and feminine together. It's just how she balances the two. She teaches respect to the masculine energy. The mom has to teach that. It doesn't come from anybody else, from the mother. So all the women we have out here that don't understand respect to masculine energy, it's because their mother has not instilled that in her. I'm going to tell you what she did instill. It's usually the exact opposite. She teaches how to operate underneath the masculine. That she learns that from her mother. She teaches the operation of a home, cleanliness, structure, balance. That's what she shows. She teaches order to the female child, and the man teaches order to the male child. So it's the exact opposite. The female teaches order to the feminine child, to the feminine child, and the father teaches order to the masculine, the male child. Okay. When a father is not in the female child's light, she sees her mother being strong, independent, alone, or she might have many men coming in and out. The little daughter might have a lot of uncles. She might see her mother possibly struggling a lot because she's single and she's alone. She sees her mother operate in forced or manufactured masculinity. Like, I'm strong, I'm independent, I got it all together. The I don't need a man mentality. That is what she might see from her mother when her mom is single and doesn't have a man in her life. So what she teaches the daughter is independence, struggle. I don't need a man. I got it all together, because all men ain't ish. Because whatever happened with her mother and her relationships, she has no masculine energy around that does anything that I said that the masculine brings to the daughter or to the home. So now this daughter grows up like, I saw my mother. How many people have we heard say, I saw my mother grow up and be a strong Black woman. I saw my mother grow up and do it all by herself. Who says that I can't? Sweetie, nobody said we can't, but who the hell wants to? I can carry trash outside, but I don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to. So no, yes, we can do it. We saw our foremothers, grandmothers, great aunts do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you should want to do it just because that's what you saw. But again, it's subconsciously instilled into the mind of the children. All right. So this woman grows up missing the masculine example. She doesn't have anybody that shows her the release of a burden, or a headache, or just relief. You know what I mean? Like, remember I said a man brings relief. Hold on, because I think I forgot to tell y'all something. Women that grow up like that, they miss out on what the masculine actually relieves the feminine from. Like, the masculine brings relief to the feminine. So when she grows up and she doesn't see that, she actually misses out on seeing and actually attracting that to her own life. So she grows up with like a false sense of masculine energy to protect herself, to provide for herself, and to do for herself. Right. If my dad is here, right. Because why are we doing that? Listen, I came into the house today in the morning. I had to come here and grab some clothes. And this is my at my dad's. And I come in the house and the kitchen and the bathroom's flooded. Like, what? And first things first. Now my husband's outside and my dad's upstairs. I'm like, flood! It's a flood. So now he got to come in, he got to come down. It's like they wrenches, pipes. They got to, I don't know. God forbid. And my son's got to put the tiles down, and they got to get a fan and dry the floor off. I was a little late to work. But if there was no men here, I would have been up the creek without a paddle, because I would have had no idea what to do. The house would have been swimming in water before I could call some other man from some other company to come and fix it. The masculine brings relief, whether we want to admit it or acknowledge it or not. That's what it does. All right? Now, if her mother did have a man, so here's the thing. You got the mom that does have a man, but then that man is a burden on her. Like, so the daughter might grow up seeing the mom with the man, but then that man don't got no job. He's taking from her mother. He's lazy. Her mom is still struggling, still stressed out, still doesn't have anything to show for anything, because the only thing she does have is a man in the house. That's a male in the house, because he's definitely not a man. So if she sees that, and she saw her mother do all the work and the labor, and the man didn't operate in his masculine power, she's going to also translate the same message into her life as well. I don't need a man. I saw my mother with a man in the house, and she struggled anyway. So what's the point? If a man is just around without provision and protection, without building and developing, he's merely a burden, because women were never meant to shoulder men. So if that's what your daughter is seeing growing up, she's going to grow up and have that same mentality. I don't need a man. For what? I could do bad by myself. I could struggle by myself. As a matter of fact, it'll be easier to struggle by myself than it will be to struggle with this male in my house, eating up all the tortilla chips and salsa. Like, you know, you like got a taste for something like tortilla chips and salsa or something like that, and then you come in the house and he done ate it because he don't got no job, and he just sitting with his crusty feet up watching TV. Oh God, no. Oh God, no. You know, so this woman grows up and just feels like she don't need that burden. And I don't blame her. I don't blame her. I don't need the burden. So again, we're creating these though, y'all. We are creating the adults that we are around now. The young adults that we're around now. These young adults that are out here now, y'all, are our children. That's who they are. You know? It's sad, and I look around all the time and I'm like, oh my God. Luckily for me, my kids are actually really well behaved. My 22-year-old is in college. My 18-year-old is a hermit. All he do is work and come home. All he care about is getting money and getting smart. And then my older son, he just minds his business, you know, work at Amazon, about to get a little job in security, you know, just mind his business. Real quiet, laid back, a little lazy. I'll lie to you about that, but you know, they're pretty good, and I'm so grateful for that, because you know, we had a village. It takes a village, y'all. Okay, when a woman and a mother has no husband to attend to, they tend to their sons as though they are their husbands, and they end up molding their son into the man that they always wanted. A man that they can handle and control. And when a young man is growing up, he doesn't really have the ability to talk back to his mother or say anything back to his mother. or become what the man is supposed to be because he's the leading energy. He has no example. So a man has to learn how to be a man first. Then he can join up with the woman and become what she needs, but not vice versa. So he has to be a man first, then join up with the woman. You cannot raise as the mother the boy to be a man without masculine energy present. It just doesn't work like that. It's unfortunate. So this type of son, he ends up lacking in his masculine tendencies overall. He's soft, he's coddled, no structure, no backbone. What else? Y'all tell me. Because we know them. They all out here. The woman leads everything. No ambition, no drive, no law, no order, nothing. Just out here talking about something they a man. Sir, what's in your masculine portfolios? What credentials do you have? And I'm not talking about your job. Who have you helped? Who have you raised? What have you done? Who have you gotten out of a situation? What advice have you given that has changed somebody's life? Because just because you have a penis doesn't make you a man. It makes you a male, and that is a very big difference. A man and a male are two different things. You want a man in your house, ladies. You do not want a male at all. Because all a male does is take up space. And so I can understand how there's women out here that's like, I'm not submitting to this. I'm not going underneath this leadership. That's because you're in the house with a male and not a man. That's why. It's really that simple. All right. So this son ends up in toxic, unbalanced feminine energy. He displays aggression, manipulation, and emotional instability. You guys ever see that man that gets so emotionally charged? And they masculine men don't really yell at women. They don't really get that emotionally irate unless they were raised by women. Then they do that because they have taken on that feminine tendency. But that is a feminine tendency, not a masculine one. All right? That emotional instability, that attitude, aggressiveness, like that's masculine men don't do that. They're stern, they're straightforward, or they walk away. They don't got time to argue with no lady. They're not going back and forth on Facebook. They're not even going back and forth with you in life. You want to argue with him? They're not going to argue with you. They're not going to argue with you. So this is what happens. Just like a woman, they have all of these traits. And it's dysfunctional in most relationships as a masculine man. So this man would not know how to truly handle a feminine woman, but he's also not going to fit in with true masculine men. So in essence, he's neutral in energy. It's not like masculine, it's not feminine, but he's neutral because he can't deal with a feminine woman. He's not masculine enough for the polarity to work, but he's not feminine enough to really be, he's not really masculine enough to be with manly men. So he kind of like never really finds his way. He's kind of just like around, and we're creating it. It's the moms that's creating that. It's us, y'all. They're not being created by men doing that. They're being created by women. That's why, y'all, fatherhood's not optional. It's not. I don't know who you are, where you at, who you listen to, but you better find that kid's father or enlist a village, okay? Enlist a village. Because what's happening to our society is women have coddled their boys for far too long. Fathers have not stepped up and been fully present for our children, period. And when I say, I mean fully present. Living in the house or not, I mean fully present. Even when my husband and I were separated, he still picked my son up for school every single day and dropped him off home every single day. So he picked him up in the morning, took him to school, got his conversation with him in, and then picked him up from school every single day and dropped him back off to me so that he could just get his time in. Still took him. Yeah, listen, I'm going to take him to get froyo. I'm going to go take him here. Because those were the times that he was utilizing to talk to him. So there's really no excuse for the fathers to not step up anymore. It's really not any excuses. Even if you say the woman is being toxic, you gotta find a way to get past that toxicity. You're a man. You can do it. You can figure it out. It's really about how bad you want it, though. All right? Our girls have not witnessed true manhood and don't know what to expect or even require from a man. If the father's not around, how does your daughter know what to expect or what to require from a man? If she doesn't have a father there showing her with her mother, or if she doesn't have a father there that's maybe not with the mother but showing her with her, how is she supposed to learn it? So now we got women out here looking for daddies, got daddy issues, but she doesn't even know what she's really looking for. I saw my father treat my mother good. I saw my father open the door for my mother. My mother never got herself into the car, and I never seen my mother get out the car by herself. It didn't matter if my father wasn't even going in with her. He still got out the car, opened the door for her, and then got back out the car and put her back in the car. My mother never, it got so bad to the point we going to get our feet done. I'm driving, I get out. I'm like, Ma, why you ain't get out? She's like, oh, I forgot. Yeah, I'm not coming out. I'm not getting you out the passenger seat. You're not with Dad. You got to get out on your own. Like, let's go. Like, all right, you're right. I forgot. I bet you did. Come on now. But I saw that growing up. So I love when my husband opens the door for me. I love when he opens the car door for me. I love when he puts me back into the car. I love that anytime I look like I'm shivering, he's like, here go your coat. I saw my dad do that. Just a gentleman overall. Take her out. She always going shopping. She buy what she want. As long as we had the money, my mother could get whatever she wanted. So I got to, again, it's not taught. It's caught. Okay? So we got to make sure what our kids are catching is something that we want, that we intentionally threw. Don't let them just catch anything because we're just doing anything. We're not conscious enough. We're not aware enough of our behaviors in front of them and what we're instilling in them. All right? So guys, because of all this, we're all essentially lost, all of us. Okay? And we have been operating in the reverse of our roles for a very long time, and no one's actually happy about it. We have this like terrible competition going on right now where we're at each other's throats energetically. It's like boys on one side, girls on the other. I'm tired of being in these Facebook groups where everybody's putting a blame on the other party. We both just got to step up and do better, mothers and fathers alike. Baby mamas, baby fathers, husband and wives, co-parenting. We have to do better. So this is where it starts. It starts with our parenting, people. That's where it starts. It starts with allowing the father full carte blanche to the child, allowing him to be super involved, encouraging him to be super involved, and if he does not want to, because you can't make somebody do something they don't want to do, and you have boy children, enlist your village, male figures, find him a mentor, get him a life coach, uncles, cousins, whoever. There is some men around you. And if she's a girl, she'll be better off, especially if her mother has a man that takes care of the mother and is good to her. So the daughter is gonna be fine as long as her mother ends up in another relationship that's healthy. But y'all, we gotta do better. We gotta all take accountability. We gotta all, yes, Joanna, we gotta all take responsibility. All of us. My mother had two brothers that were always around, always helped, always there, Um, Me and my sister, I feel like we're honestly spoiled by the masculine energy that was in our family. To this day, we still are. Like, our uncles loved us. Our boy cousins loved us. They would do anything for us, literally. So let's start, guys, please, to utilize our villages. Let's start to utilize our community and society. Let's make better decisions. I just put my son has to go to another school now. Me and his father worked so hard to get him in this school, but this school has a mentor that follows them from fifth grade all the way to college and beyond. That is something that we worked super hard to get him here. He got a $17,000 scholarship to go to private school just so that we can make sure his education and who he is around, who he decides to grow up to be, is accounted for. We are responsible for that. Or we could have let him just stay where he was at, let him watch cat fights every day, boys fighting, people disrespecting the teacher, things that we have no control over that he's learning. But because he's in that environment 6.5 to 7 hours a day, and then he comes home and we got to undo everything that he saw at school. So now, listen, hey, yeah, we gotta sacrifice. Guess what? I gotta get up at 5 o'clock in the morning now just to get him there. And I'm not a morning person, y'all. But my son is worth it. He's worth it. His education is worth it. His well-being is going to be worth it. My husband, when he drives him to school, gotta drive all the way across town and back because he's also committed to taking his daughter to school. And my son goes to school deep in New Haven, and his daughter lives in Hampton and goes to school in North Haven. So now he's literally going like this every single morning, 4 times a day. So, but these are the sacrifices we have to make. But we're so selfish now. It's about everything else, about us. But the moment you decided to lay down and create another life, your life is dedicated to those lives. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner we all realize that, put our own selfish desires and things to the side. Stop being mad at the other baby mother. Stop being mad that he got a new girlfriend. He can't be mad that you got a new boyfriend. I'm telling, but I remember there was a time like, so my husband has a daughter by someone else, and she was like, I think it's time for you, and the guy that I'm dating to have a talk. And they did. And but now my husband realized, this is the guy that's going to be around my daughter. So I got to have a camaraderie with him, period. Because then he got to know, like, he's like, I know that he's good to my daughter. And vice versa. She knows that I'm good to her daughter. So, like, there's a camaraderie that's like, it's not like, oh, we're best friends, but there's mutual respect there. And that's all you can ask for. Nobody's asking to be best friends. Like, nobody's asking, like, call me on the phone. Nobody's asking for that. But there got to be a mutual camaraderie. He has a wife. You have a man, significant other, whatever we call them nowadays. I don't know. And we have to know each other for the sake of this child. Because that's really what it's about. Once you decide to take your seed, multiply it and cultivate it, you got to take care of it. We're the only species that got to take care of our thing for 18 years. A bird just plop her baby out the tree. When she think it's ready, it might fly, it might not. She takes this a risk she's willing to take. Turtles, they plop the babies out and then leave. They just by themselves out in the water. So again, like, we're the only ones that got to do this. We got to make it count, y'all. We do. All right. So, ladies, let's do better. Our sons are not our husbands. And this imbalance that's happening between the mom and the dad and the households, we got to get it together. We just have to do better. Grow better, love better, evolve more, pray more, meditate more. I don't know, but we just got to do better. With that being said, I've kept you guys for too long tonight. And now I need my son to bring me my little bowl from rancheros. So that being said, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And with that, I want to bid you guys a wonderful night. And my next video will be next week. I can't say the day because now I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, y'all. So now it's like my background might be different because I'm going to be in different places all the time now. So we'll see. But I got some good stuff coming up for y'all. All right. So just stay tuned and invite your friends. If you think anybody will be interested or if you think this will help somebody, y'all, share it. Okay. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Love you. Bye.